June 4th meeting of the Blenheim Township Board of Trustees is now called to order at 6:30 p.m. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, thank you for coming. Roll call, please.
Heigl.
Present.
Shidaberry.
Present.
Siamaco.
President.
Okay, Adam, do we have any public comment?
Yeah, so we do. So public comments for a period of not to exceed 30 minutes. Residents or guests wishing to speak, we do ask that you sign in on the sheet provided. Thank you. Each person is given 3 minutes to express their compliment or concern. Each person will be called to the podium in the order listed on the sign-in sheet. Yielding of time to another person is not permitted. Respectful communication between all involved is expected at trustee meetings. And if anyone does not have the ability to speak during trustee comments, they can email me at pmyers@blendentwp.org. And John Lapari, is that right, John? If you come to the podium and state your name and address, and you have 3 minutes to make your comments.
Okay, John LaFerry, I live at 3786 Balboa Place. I never have to write that down. Nothing against anybody up here at all. I've gone to one before and not too impressed. Okay, I got a few things. I'd like to know who is the code enforcer person. Is he here today? That's what I thought. Okay, most of my things go to him. If there's supposed to be somebody code enforcing, grass is high as my knee and higher than that. When I walk my dog, I can't even see him if he goes in the yard. I don't like that. That makes rodents and everything else. I know it's not my yard, it's somebody else's yard. And let me say, most of these yards are from rentals. Why doesn't Blendon call Vinebrook, who rents these houses, and take care of these people that rent? And I read something that got mowed. They got mowed and got added to their parcel. What does that mean? It got added to their taxes? Oh, I'd really bet it did. I don't know, you know, so I'm not gonna mow mine, and y'all can mow my grass and see how that works, okay? Rental property is the biggest problem, and that guy, I don't know who he is, why isn't he even here, okay, for the code enforcer? I see cops go through when I walk my dog, I wave them, sometimes I stop them down and bitch about what I see when I walk my dog. There's some stray dogs, there's some mean dogs that I gotta hold my dog close to me, he's little, because these other dogs are barking. They just don't know they can jump that fence yet. And it's happened. Called the cops on Dobermans. I called the cops on German Shepherds over there and got loose, and I wouldn't move my dog because of that. Okay? Trash. I know these rental people do what they want because there's no control. They put trash out every day. I understand you move, things happen. But they're not covering their mattresses, so they sit there for weeks, okay? Cars parked the wrong way. I'm not making fun, like I said. Excuse me if you think I'm talking about you. But the cops go up and down, They got 3 little roads they ride on. Have fun, that's all they do. I know they pass these cars, Camaro got smashed down there because it's parked there, and don't run. It got wrecked into it. Another car got wrecked into it right in the same place, okay? Cars are parked the wrong way. You go right up a street, turn to the right, there's a Camaro at a rental house, parked the wrong way in the street. And 2 cars down from it, the license plate says 1224 on it. You know, they drive around, you know, I don't know. But sure as I do it, I would get pulled over first. You know how people wait for the stop sign?
Thanks for your comments, sir.
Is that all I can get? Here next time. Thank you.
That was all public comment.
Since you ran out of time, if you have more to say, you can always submit it in writing.
I got you.
That was all the public comment?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Trustee comments.
Yep, I do. Earlier this year, I had a resident ask me how much our police department does on a daily basis. So as a result, I started to look at our daily runs. I requested a breakdown from the chief on how many runs we had in the month of May. I had him break it down into 4 areas of the township: Huber Ridge area, Sunbury Woods, Cleveland Heights area, and east of Sunbury Road area. I wanted to make sure our residents knew how many runs our township police make on a monthly basis, and plan to continue to share this information with you in the future. During the month of May alone, our police made 233 runs in our township, which averages just over 7 a day. The breakdown was as follows: Huber Ridge area, 127, Sunbury Woods, 47, Cleveland Heights area, 32, east of Sunbury Road area, 17. The Blend and Beautiful initiative update, the cleanup for Sunbury Wood Commons is now complete, and we're working with Franklin County to reschedule them to come out to clean up at Ridgewood and behind Glengarry Plaza. Last week, the rain prohibited them from coming out. We're shooting for Tuesday or Wednesday of next week, weather dependent, of course. The plan is to make our way around the township as needed. If you see an area in need, please email myself or Pat. That's all I have.
Okay.
Uh,
Trustee Huckle, do you have any comment?
I do. So I have for you the summary of suggestions for the Sunbury Road and Executive Parkway Strategic Planning Vision Meeting for the JEDSI Phase 2. That meeting was an open house. It was May 20th. So again, these are suggestions from residents. The purpose of the open house was to gather community input for future planning priorities. There were multiple interactive stations focused on 4 key topics. 1 was parks, recreation, and trails. 2 was infrastructure and transportation. 3, economic development for Sunbury Road. And 4, economic development for Executive Parkway. The key suggestions from the participants for the parks, recreation, and trails included connectivity through sidewalks, trails, and bike paths, nature integrated infrastructure, pedestrian overpass on Sunbury Road, ADA accessibility, and there is limited CODA transit options. The environmental concerns included to preserve the floodplains, have native plantings, bioswales. There was mixed feedback on mosquito risks and overgrowth. The desired amenities were inclusive playgrounds, pickleball courts, dog parks, splash pads, and restrooms. There was strong support for trails and bridges and minor concerns about open streams and bridge impacts. For the infrastructure and transportation, the suggestions were: we need traffic signals, especially at Valley Quail Boulevard North and Sunbury Road, safety upgrades and congestion relief, better street lighting and signage enforcement. Their infrastructure needs suggestions were drainage fixes, especially on Executive Parkway, sustainable stormwater solutions such as bioswales and mosquito control. There were mixed views about roundabouts. So economic development on Sunbury Road, they suggested remove unsightly structures such as the BP car wash, facade upgrades, and locally focused dining. The development preferences included opposition to more retail and offices, some support for mixed use but concern over apartments and condos, and emphasis on walkability, high quality design, and maintaining the local character. The economic development for Executive Parkway suggestions included recreational spaces such as parks, playgrounds, and dog park, sidewalks, green buffers, and limited commercial or residential infill. reuse of vacant offices before any new development. And development preferences included favor owner-occupied housing over rentals, avoid high-density buildings and hotels. Some miscellaneous suggestions that we received included the parking lot, and they said create buffers such as fences or plantings along Sunbury Road, limit development and preserve green space, use sustainable landscaping such as bioswales and native plants. So the overall community themes, they had a strong desire for walkability, connectivity, green space, and local creatures, preservation over density with thoughtful community scale development, and infrastructure that blends with nature, and to support revitalization, not overbuilding. So those are all very good, excellent suggestions. Surveys have been sent to many. The website is up and you can get the survey from the website. And we've already received numerous responses from the survey too. So that's it. As far as another open house, they're going to wait and see about the surveys. They're coming in so wonderfully that if we may get enough information. They're coming from people that did not attend the open house, but they're learning about it, going to the website, and giving us their thoughts. So that is the update, and I will keep you updated when more comes. Thank you.
Okay, I have a few comments. First, I want to thank Matt and his crew, Val and her senior center crew, the Blendon Township Police Department, the Westville Fire Department, the LSE Woodrow VFW Memorial Post 7883, the American Legion Youngblood Post 171, and all volunteers who helped make the Memorial Day ceremony and lunch a success. I also want to thank Sherry Chafin, the principal of Huber Ridge Elementary, her 5th grade choir directors, and the choir students who selflessly gave of their time to provide the music for the ceremony even after the school year had ended. I heard many, many compliments on the ceremony and the lunch. Next, there are 3 special things happening on June 14th. It's Flag Day, so I want to remind everybody to fly their flags. Congress officially designated June 14th as National Flag Day in 1949. Also, June 14th is our first Township Summer Concert of the season from 6 to 8 behind Minerva Park Middle School. Several of us from the township attended the First Responders event that was held at that venue in the fall and saw what a great space it is for events, including plenty of parking. So please bring your chair or blanket and come enjoy the free music, free food, and free children's activities. The last special event on June 14th, while not local, it's the 250th anniversary of the U.S. Army's Grand Military Parade and Celebration in Washington, D.C. at 6:30 that evening. So we'll all be at the concert, but I'm setting my DVR because this will be a grand, once-in-a-lifetime event to watch. Lastly, Father's Day is June 15th, so we honor all the fathers out there. On to the fiscal report. Ms. Bird.
Yes, have you had an opportunity to review the minutes from 5:19 special meeting and the 5:21 regular meeting?
Yes, I will move to approve, we'll separate those. I will move to approve the special meeting minutes from 5:19, 25.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Okay, call for the vote.
Michael?
I was absent, so I will abstain.
Shinneberry?
Yes?
Siamaco?
Yes.
Okay, and then I will move to approve the trustee meeting minutes from 5:21 of 25.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion?
Nope.
Call for the vote.
Michael?
Again, I was absent for this, so I will abstain.
Shinneberry?
Yes.
Siamaco?
Yes.
And then have you had an opportunity to review the purchase order?
Yes, I will move to approve the purchase orders as presented.
I will second.
Any discussion? Okay, call for the vote.
Michael?
Yes.
Shinneberry?
Yes.
Siamaco?
Yes.
Have you had an opportunity to review the bills?
Yes, I will move to pay the bills as presented.
And I will second.
Any discussion? Call for vote.
Michael? Yes?
Shinaberry?
Yes.
Seymour?
Yes.
And then have you had a chance to review the 2025 bank reconciliation for April?
Yes, and I will move to approve the April 2025 bank reconciliation as presented.
Second?
Any discussion? Okay, call for vote.
Michael?
Yes?
Shinaberry?
Yes.
Seymour?
Yes.
The next item that I have here for you is a resolution approving the financing by the Columbus Franklin County Finance Authority for the benefit of the OCLC. Ellison Boggs is here from Squire, Allison Binkley is here from Squire Patton Boggs, and she's going to give a little bit more information on this process.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. As Joanne said, I'm Allison Binkley, a partner in the Columbus office of Squire Patton Boggs. We are serving as bond counsel to OCLC. And as Joanne mentioned, this is a tax-exempt financing that is being done by the Columbus Franklin County Finance Authority. They are serving as the issuer. The reason we're before you tonight is that this is purely to meet a requirement of the Internal Revenue Code. Whenever an issuer body is not an elected body, we have to look to the highest elected officials in both the jurisdiction of the issuer as well as the jurisdictions of the project where proceeds are being spent, and ask for their approval of the financing in order for it to move forward and close. So the Mayor of Columbus will be providing his approval of this, or we assume he will be providing it as the issuer post. And then we are requesting the City of Dublin as well as you to provide your approval of the project. Because OCLC has a location here in Blendon Township on Executive Parkway, and they'll be using some of the proceeds there, this is why I'm here. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have, but again, this is really just to meet a requirement of the Internal Revenue Code. There are no tax dollars that are being used to support this. Blendon Township has absolutely no liability here.
Thank you for the explanation. Does anybody have any
Nice
questions?
job. Nice job.
Yeah, I read the 2 or 3 pages and thought, we need somebody to explain that to us.
Okay, glad to be here.
Thank you. Are you ready for a motion
Yes.
to approve the resolution?
Yes, please.
Okay. I will move to approve Resolution 2025-18, a resolution approving solely for the purpose of Section 1479F of the Internal Revenue Service lease obligations for the benefit of OCLC Incorporated by the Columbus Franklin County Finance Authority, other documents in connection with the issuance of the obligations.
And I will second.
Any discussion?
I think we're good now.
Okay. All right, call for the vote.
Michael?
Yes?
Shinaberry?
Yes.
Seymour?
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Al.
Do you have any other thing to report or any other business? You're done with your business? Okay. Okay, on to Administration and Human Resources. Pat?
Sure, I've got a few things, just a couple on the agenda and a couple late additions and a little bit of information I'm going to give you. But first of all, I'd ask for a motion to approve resolution for a nuisance abatement on property of 5601 Spawn Drive. We've tagged this twice and through the process. I'll explain the process a little more here in my recap. But I'd like to go ahead and get that nuisance resolution so we can get the letter out to the owner.
Okay. Well, I will move to approve Resolution NU 2025-04, declaring the property owned by Matthew F. Bear located at 5601 Spawn Drive in Blendon Township, Franklin County, Westerville, Ohio, 806.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, call for the vote.
Michael?
Yes?
Shinaberry?
Yes.
Seymour?
Yes.
Before I move on from that, let me touch on, I've heard from a couple residents, and one tonight, but I've heard from a couple other ones, and I plan to give this update. So the code enforcement team goes out when they're asked to come out and check on a complaint. At this time of the year, when they're out and about, they also see grass that needs addressed, they're addressing those grasses. And what they're doing is they'll tag that, they'll give it 3 days. If we don't hear from the owner, they'll tag it a second time. If within 2 to 3 days, if they haven't called us back, at that point, we will consider a nuisance resolution. Once the trustees approve a nuisance resolution, I send a letter via certified mail to the owner of the parcel, tell them they have 7 days to cut the grass. If they don't cut the grass, We hire a company, because we're not allowed to do it because it's private property. We hire a third party, they give us a quote, we pay the bill, it goes on the taxes. It 100% goes on taxes because they send it to Vincent at Franklin County. So we take care of it that way. The problem with these nuisance resolutions is we can't do it in perpetuity and say, every 7 days, we're gonna check it and cut it. If it gets back to 8 inches, I'm gonna come before you again and give you the same address, and we're gonna do the same process. They only get 4 days after the letter after that. So that's the only thing we can do. That's as far as we can go with that. We had 59 complaints since the 1st of January in our code department. 26 have been cleared. Some of those are repeats. We have, we did 2 nuisance resolutions last week. I think most people saw properties that were cut in the neighborhood. We got a lot of comments about those being cut. This is one we're doing now. We have 2 other ones we're looking at. And we also have a property we're actually taking to court to have them clean up their entire property. So there is a lot going on in code enforcement, and those are the things we're trying to do on a regular basis. We are held to a really tight process on that. And I talked to legal counsel, isn't there a way to say, if it's a repeat offender, we can speed that up, and we can't. We have to continue to do that process every time. So if I decide I want to do one tomorrow, the next chance I have to do a nuisance resolution is June 18th, and then 7 days after that. So that's kind of where we're at. So we're going to continue to work hard on them, keep doing them. We're tracking them in software. If people want that information, we can get it to them as far as, you know, what we're doing and the things that we're doing. All our complaints are anonymous, so we've never, no one's ever going to know who called on who or anything like that. But it is a process that we're trying to really keep up on. And I know I was out in the township today, and I personally believe that outside of a couple that are in the process and a couple that have been tagged and so forth, that many, many folks that we tagged have cut their grass and have gotten where they need to be. So I'm excited with the results we're having. So just wanted to throw that out there. Next, I'd ask for you to accept a $25 donation from the Ridgewood Park Rentals. The last person who rented it, so just keep the $25. So.
Well, I will move to accept the $25 in donations from a Ridgewood Park rental, and thank you to them.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, call for the vote.
Eichel?
Yes?
Chinneberry?
Yes.
Piedmont?
Yes.
Thank you. Next, this just came in at 4:30 today, 5 o'clock today. Occasionally from the Ohio Division of Liquor Control, or actually from the Department of Commerce, we get a letter, someone's applied for a liquor license. I typically ask the chief, which I've done, but I'll let him stay to it. Do you have any objection to this liquor license? If he does, he'll let me know. Maybe they've had complaints from that area or whatever. I think on this one, Chief, CM Chicken, no complaints. So you would see no reason for a hearing. Okay. Since Chief sees no reason for a hearing, all I need is consensus from the board that you don't want to go to a hearing and contest this liquor license. And as long as you guys give me the consensus, I will say we don't want a hearing and they can move forward with liquor license.
What was the business?
CM Chicken, it's at the far corner of Sunbury Woods. Used to be a diner there, it was called Gina's.
Oh, yeah.
That's it. I kept saying Nancy's, but that's Nancy's home cooking, I guess. But anyways, so yeah, they already have a liquor license, they're transferring it to a new LLC with the same company. They're still staying CM Chicken, it's just a new LLC. So if you guys are okay with it, shake the head, yes, sir, I'll go ahead and take care of that. Okay, thank you. A couple more things, kind of back to code enforcement as well. We also have issues sometimes with corporations. The building 4079 has been well maintained since the last time we had to talk with them when they first took over. The grass had gotten really high. Some folks in Sunbury Woods, I got several comments thanking us for that. 4171, same thing. And then the car wash. I met with the owner of the car wash, actually the new general manager of the car wash. The owner's the same. They had a hole in the roof. I don't know if anybody noticed it or saw it. There's a big hole in the roof of the car wash. The trash was overflowing. There were weeds everywhere. The grass hadn't been cut. So I met with him 2 weeks ago. He promised to do some things. He slowly did. I went out today. There's not a weed to be found in the parking lot at all. 2 of the bays are operational now. They're working on 2 of the other bays. All the trash has been emptied and all the grass has been cut there. So they want it to be back to a viable car wash at this point. And I told him as long as they continue to do that, we'll continue to work with them. So he actually emailed me today, hey, wanted to let you know. So I went over and checked it out to confirm that was done. So we're continuing to work with them as well. One thing I think residents will notice in the next day or two, if they're coming southbound from Westerville into the township, or if they turn left to go eastbound on Paris, the wedge signs that we have there, say Glennon, have been freshly painted. and the one at Paris was getting really bad. It was kind of black, from the exhaust and things like that. But those were freshly painted today, and they look really good. So if you check those out. I did have a question to the trustees. I don't ask for any action tonight or any opinions tonight, but I would like you to think about and maybe contact me separately about the Yuba Ridge Area Association white and green signs that we have out front. It's rotted. So even if I was to have Matt paint it or get it painted, they're rotting. So I'd really like to get some ideas from you guys over the next week or two, what you think we might want to do with those, whether we leave them, whether we change them. I priced doing some that are made of different material. It's really expensive. So I'd just like to get your ideas on that. So if you guys would think about that, and I'll email you to remind you about that.
Can you send us photos of like the new ones that you want to propose
Yeah, I just took
and the
them.
existing? Okay.
Yep, absolutely. I think that's all I have, unless you have anything for me.
No, but I want to thank you for your efforts on the things that you itemized.
Thanks.
Okay, on to maintenance, building, parks, and cemetery. Mr. Newman.
Yeah, briefly, we've just been keeping up with our mowing and our parks. We've worked on foundations out in the cemetery. We had 54 foundations we poured, and we're working on the June 14th concert. That's all.
I want to personally thank you for how nice Ridgeville Park looks. I was down there either Friday or Saturday and walked the whole trail through the woods following the creek, and the whole park and the trail and everything were very nice. Thank you. That's it from you?
That's it.
Okay. Police, Chief Bradford.
Today, along with 4 other officers from Blenheim Township, I attended the final honors for in Shear and Mount Gilead. So you may see Blenheim Township cruisers pictured, or people might have seen us north on 71. That's why today. Earlier this week, Trustee Cinderberry reached out to me about abandoned and junk motor vehicles in the townships that she had seen with stickers on them that had not been towed. So I did explain the process on that. Our officers will put stickers on these vehicles that appear to be inoperable. If they're parked illegally, we can write parking tickets and we can tow them because of their violations. But if they are abandoned or junk motor vehicles, this one in particular had flat tires. We have another process we have to follow. We do try to make contact with the owner. If the plate comes back somewhere else, we still knock on doors, see if maybe they just need to change their address and they move to the township. We send a certified letter to the last known address of the registered owner, having them contact us and give them 7 business days to get back to us. There is a process there, because if we tow a vehicle and it doesn't meet the definition in the Ohio Revised Code, the township would be liable for the towing and storage fees. So we are careful to follow the law on that. We will still tag them. For example, the one vehicle that Trustee Schinneberg asked about had flat tires. I don't know what other counties are like, but judges in Franklin County do not consider flat tires to meet the definition of inoperable, because air can be put in them and they can drive. But this gentleman in particular did say his rims were leaking. He did have a sticker on his car. Our officers continue to work with these residents to try to get these cars in some kind of working order and moved off of the street if we can, even if they don't meet the criteria that allows us to tow them. So that is an ongoing effort around the township. That's just one example, but we do have to follow procedure. We can't just swoop in and hook these cars. It used to be a lot easier. In the early 2000s, the law was changed. When that law was passed, they set the bar really low. The car has to, one of the things is for the car to be blue book less than $1,500. Almost any car is worth $1,500 in parts. And so judges don't give us a lot of latitude on that particular part of the code. But we are working on that problem. Traffic enforcement, we continue to work for safety, working off of data that supports targeting crash areas. For example, it is hard to work the intersection of Dempsey and Route 3 where we have crashes, so one of the things we try to do to affect that is to reduce speed on Dempsey as they approach that intersection. We're also doing the same thing on State Route 161, reducing speed as they approach the intersection. Seems to be more efficient than trying to sit in the intersection and stop things from happening while they're happening. So we're doing that in both directions. That continues. On June 24th and 25th, Residents will see drones flying in Ridgewood Park. Because Homeland Security and Emergency Management Agency will be conducting training. We're not going to close the park. They say it's going to be pretty unobtrusive to people using the park, but they will have an area on the baseball diamonds with some yellow tape and some trucks that they'll be flying the drones in and out of. Also, you may see Blenheim Township officers on the subpoena list for the Mifflin Township shooting. So when that happened, the 2 officers were shot in Mifflin Township. Officer trouble call went out. Officers from Blenheim Township, Clinton Township, Minerva Park, and County Sheriff all responded down there. 2 Blenheim officers, Sergeant Moynihan and Officer Foreign, did end up being part of the team that recovered the firearm that was discarded in a wooded area, guarded the firearm, and led BCI agents to the firearm so they could find it and recover it as part of the case. So don't be surprised if you do see them popping up on witness lists for that case. And that's all I have to report tonight.
Thank you for the thorough report and for the explanation about the course. On to the fire department. Chief Miller.
Yeah, summer is here, so we're starting to see runs related to summer type activities. I highly recommend, if you have kids riding bicycles and adults for that matter, bicycle helmets, and just be cautious. We've had a couple bicyclists struck by cars, so when you're crossing intersections, be alert of that. Same thing with motorcycles. Make sure if you're out on your motorcycle, you have a helmet on. And then the other thing is the pools are open, so if you have little ones, really keep an eye on them, especially when they're around bodies of water, whether it's creeks or pools or whatever. But we are getting back into that season, and our runs will increase as we go through the summertime. So, and that's all I got tonight. So, thank you.
Okay. Before we adjourn, does anyone have any last comments? Okay, I'll just give one last reminder about our free township concert on June 14th. And our next regular trustee meeting is June 18th, 6:30 p.m., same place. So I will move to adjourn this meeting at 7:02 p.m.
One second.
Any discussion? Call for the vote.
Michael? Yes. Tina Berry?
Yes.
Mrs. Maloney?